So good. I have a theme song. Hello,
Ooh.
everybody. My name is Nicholas Tannick. This is your kinky friends. Everything we talk about today is between consensual adults. We're adults. This is a lifestyle. Don't judge. Seriously, please don't judge. You'll have a better time. You'll be a happier person. Open your mind. Don't judge. And try to have a good time. Ladies and gentlemen, please be respectful and approach with respect and honor. And I cannot express how thankful I am today to be with my very good friend, our Mommy Celeste. Mommy Celeste, we're going to talk about the nurturing of BDSM. We're going to talk about caring. We're going to talk about, yes, caring and love and aftercare and not being naughty.
Oh, that's hard.
My name is Nicholas Tannick. This is your kinky friends. Please welcome Mommy Celeste, aka the magnificent Chastity Queen. How are you? What is going on?
I'm
What's inspiring you
good.
these days?
Oh my gosh. Witchcraft and music. You send me lots of kinky songs that I enjoy, you know?
And I know
What
the
else?
spells that you cast are wonderful. I'm so thankful for
Yes.
that you're magical. I love the fact that you're magical,
Yes.
Mommy Celeste. So let's talk about
Oh,
Mommy Doms. This is the
yes.
Mommy Dom show. All right,
Yes, it is. And I'm a Mommy Domme,
you are.
and I love it. So what would you like to ask? I mean, I love chastity, but I didn't wear all my keys because I didn't want to frighten all of the adult babies that might be watching.
Well, thank you. That's important
Mhm.
because frightening. They're very sensitive.
Yes.
They're very sensitive, and we are respectful of their sensitivities. So let's talk about you. What specifically drew you into this role of Mommy Dom?
When I first started years ago, okay, I was on a website and I was really drawn to humiliation. And I noticed that there were a lot of slaves and subs that were engaging in wearing diapers. And, it obviously immediately tickled my humiliatrix bone. And I found it intriguing. And I also, when I had conversations with these ones, these humiliation style babies, because there are many different, types of ABs and DLs, and there's separations. And but I started off humiliating men and dressing them in diapers, and I eventually brought that into my. I recognized them at events, and I was curious, and I would ask them questions, and they'd be holding their teddy bears and doing certain things, and I recognized immediately that each adult baby is definitely different in their approach and for different reasons. And because I love behavior and I love humanity and I love to get to know the mind, I had to figure it out. And so I started in the humiliation side of things, and then it just grew into dominating in my dungeon and also being a mummy in the dungeon and the different varieties there that I met. And going regularly to buy diapers and all of the accoutrement of an adult baby. And I seem to fit into that dynamic really well. And I love it.
I totally see that too. I mean, when we first met, as brutal and as sadistic as you are, there's a warmth to you. There
Yeah,
is this fire, there's this light to you. And when I was sick, I was incredibly sick, and you and
I know.
we became very close when I was sick, and
And
seeing
me
you,
too.
you were very motherly, and
Mhm.
and just as someone in the kink community, we need we need good mommies. You know, we need mother figures. So, what is the term mommy dom? I see it all the time. Mommy dom. It's in fet life. There's a fetish. What are you as a gender, as not as a gender, as a category, stuff like that? But what does it mean to you, and
I
how
f
does it
I
differ from other dominant roles?
I think it fits into the main category for, cis women or even, trans, male to female who are taking on that role as a femdom, dynamic. It's, almost, falls into the female-led relationship because a mummy is very much in control of, uh, pretty much everything that a baby does to function,
Mm.
and it's like a real baby and mommy dynamic, but then there's so many offshoots, so it could be so I'm the feminine divine persona, but I could be for one, I could be a nurturer. For one, I could be, a humiliatrix. For another, I could be, let's see, uh, disciplinarian. It depends on the age too of
Yeah.
the adult baby, right? I have to figure
The
that out
older the
first.
adult baby, is there like a helix type situation where like the older the adult baby, the more they act a certain way? Does age have something to do with how with their aggression?
I would say gender. It's strange that I have to
Usually,
say this, but gender has a big, it's a big indicator of how an AB will act, and I can actually say that, my own baby that I own, Nancy Panty, you know, I saw that throughout their experiences, that, where a sissy baby girl or a little baby girl will be obedient and quiet and, listen to mommy. The little boys are a little bit more, active, and sometimes they can be bratty. It depends on the age. If they're a toddler, mental space, it depends what mental space they're in, so you have to figure out what, headspace they're in or how they identify in that role as the baby when they're baby. It's you've gotta ask a lot of questions.
yeah. I have a question. I'll get to the regular questions.
Yes.
But when I was telling people I was interviewing you, and one of the things that they always say, how do you shut down a brat?
Oh my gosh. That's that's very difficult, and, I have to admit something that, you know, because like, I have to be honest about brats, and, I have I'm challenged with brats because I'm very much, a disciplinarian, and I like obedience, and when, an AB or any slave is acting out for attention, it's hard to identify if they're just being disobedient
Mm-hmm.
or if they're purposefully being bratty or if they're just having an emotional situation in the moment. But I'm pretty quick to, oh, unless I know you're a brat, you could be in serious trouble. So,
Yeah.
if you don't tell me and I don't know, like I have an example, I have a slave right now who has, been problematic, and I had him do the BDSM test, which I think is so important for any mommy doms out there. Okay, you're gonna
Okay.
get an AB or any dom, master dom, whoever.
Hmm.
Even for yourself, figure out what you're all about, because the minute you can figure that out and the minute your
Yeah.
dom can figure out what your percentages are,
Oh,
then you can dive right in and you don't have to wonder, well, are they being bratty? Are they, monogamous and loyal? Are they non-monogamous? Do they like pain? Do they not? It's a good, beginning step to ask them to do that test, because I didn't figure out for 2 years that this person was a brat. And I stuck it out. I'm still here, and they're still there. But but now I call him a monkey, and he's
do you
my
find
monkey,
it?
right?
Do you find the dynamic kind of strange because you want to be stoic and patient and understanding as a
Yeah.
dom, right? You want to
Yes.
you want to be understanding and also be dominant. But there
Yeah.
is that feeling with they're being bratty, you just kind of want to be like, fuck this, forget it. This is over.
Yeah.
I'm reading this because you fucking suck. You know?
Yeah, you're being a dick, you know, you're
It's
just
like,
being a little dick, or you're looking for a spanking, you're looking for a punishment, and, like,
be the brat.
I'm not playing this game, like, you know the rules,
It's a
stick to
fine
them, if you
line, yeah.
don't, fuck off.
But yeah, I mean, a consensual, like you come out, I'm a brat, and you want to be like, you know, and that's a good time. I'll shout out to the consensual brats out there.
Oh, hey, I'm not saying I just wanna know. If you're a brat, then I can cope
Yes,
with
yes,
it.
yes,
But if I don't
yes.
know, then, you know, and you keep it a mystery because you wanna be punished constantly, you're playing head games. I'm
It all comes
sorry.
to the fact of what you said before.
What?
Know what you want. Know who you
Yes.
are. Be who. I find the kink community is very, very important, very helpful in people becoming who they are. You become a fake person in order to become the real you. You know what I mean?
But you have to figure out who you are before you can be a good
That's the
slave or
hardest
sub.
part.
And
That
that's why
is
I'm
the hardest
saying go do the BDSM test.
Mhm.
You know, just
And
do
how
it.
can you do this? How can you find this BDSM test? How can
Oh, that's what is it? BDSM .org or something, BDSM test. On FetLife, you'll see a lot of people have. I can look for it. Hold on a second. Just let me
Let's
look
get
for
back
it,
to
and
the
then I'll tell
questions.
you. Oh, okay.
Let's get
Okay. Well,
back to the
you can put a
questions.
link down below, right?
Of course, yes. I
That'd
can
be
even go to
great.
the
And then they
site.
can take the test.
So, what are some common desires or needs that you see in submissives who seek out the mommy dom, mommy Celeste, not chastity queen? I want to be your chastity slave, or I want to suck cock, or anything like that. I want a mom. What are the common desires for the mommy?
Common desires are to be diapered, to be maybe to be, and they're not all the same, just so you know. So I'm just going to throw a bunch out there, kind of like stick it like spaghetti.
Yeah, please.
So, you know, some want to be diapered, some want to be denied, some want to be humiliated, and that's where sometimes messy can come in, or wets. Not always the case, but a lot. The messy in particular can be a, you know, I got a little something in my eye. Can be part of that. What else? Not always though. Hmm. Hmm. Desires or needs. To have a feminine energy that's watching over them, to be obedient, to be corrected, to be loved, to feel warmth from somebody other than any kind of a sexual expectation. So it's like it's that romantic, well, it's not even the romantic, it's the that nurturing first year's love that is so fleeting once you're, you know, you're a teenager and you grow up into adulthood, and you miss the days sometimes when, you know, you had a mummy and she was carrying you around like, you know, like a just this little cute little bundle of joy, and you couldn't do anything wrong. Like you just were
One
perfect.
thing,
Even if you're like an ugly little baby, you were the most beautiful thing on the planet.
and the world is new. One thing that a lot of people in the kink community who are dealing with very, emotional issues and stuff like that, they deal with
Yes.
regression. They deal with regression therapy.
I love that.
One thing that I noticed with the fetish is that it does open minds in the sense of like it tries to tap into a part of you where everything is new, where like songs aren't lame anymore, movies aren't lame anymore, food
No.
isn't lame, everything is new and then wonderful. So like it tries to tap into that kind of I mean, a lot of it's role play and everything like that. Let me ask you a question. Someone in texted me.
Okay.
All right. Um,
I'm ready for
you,
anything.
all right. Do you ever want to tell any of these adult babies, grow the fuck up and act like an adult?
Ew.
This is
No.
uh,
I
okay.
know.
Another,
I
um,
don't. I've not been in that scenario where I felt the need, and I don't think it really fits into the whole
of course
dynamic,
not. It's
honestly.
rude. It's absolutely rude. This is a question. I don't want to say the person
No, and
didn't
it's fine.
answer it.
You know, it's a valid question. I mean,
Yeah.
I think that people that have maybe some stigmas attached to these people that are, you know, in this role play, or in this headspace, there's a lot of stigmatism, a lot of assumptions, a lot of judgment.
Speaking of the misconceptions in diapers, I don't want to mention any names, but we had an adult baby contacted me. We get a lot of um a lot of doms actually who are like the mommy doms. Out of all the people that we get pushback, it's the mommy doms. We get people who staple nuts together to other nuts, right?
What?
And
What?
yeah,
What do
or
you
sew people together and crazy abusive things. Like as soon as I
what?
walk in, I piss in their face, like crazy abusive doms. And yet, a lot of the complaints that I get are from mommy doms. Why do you think that is? A lot of them says like they're scammers or stuff like
Oh,
that, or
oh,
abusive.
okay.
Why do you think
Oh,
that is?
I think there's a lot of misunderstanding. I think that there's a lot of people who are littles that have their own issues that they're going through, and they have maybe some, mommy or daddy issues that um, sort of puts them on the defensive, and they're always looking for something negative to pull out of a mummy dom. And even, for example, if she is a mummy and a baby, and she's a switch essentially, a lot of the ABs can't understand why a mummy would switch, and so there can be a lot of confusion. And I don't know. I think that there are a lot of ABs and littles and in this community that are suffering some sort of, not all of them, don't get me wrong, not but there's some that have some severe childhood trauma. And if you remind them of that person who, perpetrated the trauma onto you, they can have some sort of a visceral or triggered feeling towards you that may come from a subconscious. So they can't really logically, consciously understand why they are feeling so much venom for an individual. And, as far as scammers, I think that in every level of society and life, there are scammers. I mean, uh, we've got someone heading a country that's a big grifter too. And, it happens everywhere. And I think that, even the smartest of individuals can be, unfortunately a victim of scamming.
Yeah.
So you can't just say, well, because I don't like this person or one person scam me, then they're all the same. That would be like saying somebody who, I don't know if you've seen that the movie about the Polish musician who, it's a true story, called, he was a polka king or polka something. Anyway, he
Oh, the
was
polka gig. Yeah,
the what?
the
Yeah,
polka.
yeah, it was great. The polka guy. Anyway, lovely guy, but he scammed a bunch of old people.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, he had good intentions, but it went down the
Oh
toilet
yeah.
real fast, and he really hurt people. But do we look at everybody who sings and dances in polka as a potential scammer? Like if someone's going to give you 12% interest back on money, then you got to ask yourself, like, am I falling for it?
Now let's switch it up.
Yeah. Okay. Sorry. I went on a rant.
Let's switch it up. There is a I remember when I first started getting into kink and the cross dressing and chastity thing, the mommy dom kind of fetish, the way I kind of led into it um, was through that. There was a sub dressed up and usually brighter colors, not in like slutty dark colors. It's usually like blues and whites and pinks and reds, right?
Pastels and
And the chastity laying down gets unlocked through the whole time. The sub is just going, mommy, and the mommy dom is like, mommy will take care of you, stuff like that. And
yes,
it wasn't
yeah,
until then that I pieced the narrative kind of together. So
yeah.
would you say you're a loving mommy as opposed to a cruel mommy?
I would say that because I like behavior and I like to get into individuals' minds, that I am absolutely adaptable to
Yeah,
anything,
yeah.
and I'm not going to be sadistic or cruel or take an AB who needs nurturing into my dungeon, for example,
Mhm.
but I have
Okay.
taken ABs into my dungeon because they
Now,
wanted that.
I got a major question. You are chastity.
Okay.
How do you explain the role of chastity in your dynamic? as a mommy dom?
So, chastity I've always felt is the conduit to many fetishes. So there, when you have a cage, then that to me the cage is control, or it could be feminization, or it can be regression, and it can make a man feel much like a baby, or can make a man feel like a sissy or a sissy baby, depending on what color he's wearing, or what size, or maybe it's a little girl pussy cage, and they put that on. It's a means to an end. So it's the tool that opens up the whole kit.
Yeah. So how now with chastity, which a lot of people view it as a form of torture. I don't. You change the
Oh,
narrative. You kink the narrative, right?
it shouldn't. It
But
shouldn't.
so as a mommy dom, how do you balance the nurturing and the caring side of being a mommy dom with the dominant and controlling aspects?
Well, as far as the chastity comment, it shouldn't hurt. It should only feel tight when you have a little erection. And if it's hurting, then I don't think that's, you know, functional, unless maybe you're adding in some teeth or some, whatever.
Like,
That's more of this, that side. But okay. Um the nurturing, you know, balancing that, it's all sort of in one package. For example, with my baby Nancy, you know, I nurture, and we have loving texts every day. We check in every day. We Skype. We, talk. We share videos of nature, and we do a lot of things. But when it comes to spank time, I could be on Skype, and boy, oh boy, does she ever give herself some heavy whacks with the paddle, because she's, in the US area. And so I can't be there physically to do it, but boy, does she have some gusto, and she knows that that's part of being a baby. And the beautiful thing about that is that it helps her to cry. It makes her cry. And crying is a very baby thing to do. It gets you back to the basics of how you feel.
so just take us through making someone spank themselves. So they're in America, you're in Canada.
Yes.
Uh, do they have so they set up the camera, or the phone or the computer or
Mhm.
whatever? Are
Yeah.
they on the bed? Are they on the floor?
It
Are they
it
in a
could
field?
be it could be on the bed, it could be on the crib. I have access to, and baby Nancy's not the only one I have access to now, but I have access to a camera system, and at all times I can check in on my baby. So I can look in over it. The camera's set up over the crib, and then there's one that's set up over the high chair. And so I can look at 2 in the morning if I want to, and see how baby's doing sleeping in the crib. Or maybe I check in during the day, and they're having a little soft food on their high chair. It's wonderful. So I can have full control that way. So that's my dominance. I'm looking in, I'm checking in whenever I want, just as a baby would be looked at and cared for.
And these, when you say cribs and high chairs, these are full. These are for adults.
Oh, yeah, and the thing is, my baby, she made her own. Like, she
Yeah,
adapted, a single bed,
they're
and put
custom made. They're not.
railings. You don't have to spend a lot of money to do it. You
Okay.
don't. You just get railings, and you make a little crib setup, and then, you've got your stuffies, and you've got little baby blankets, and your onesie, and your diapers, and it smells like baby powder probably in there too.
Now I knew you grew up in a cult. Were you
Yeah.
allowed stuffies?
I didn't have a lot of things. Materialism was an issue. So I had a little tiny suitcase, and it had my Barbie dolls in it. And my mom would make clothes for the Barbie dolls, but I couldn't have a lot of things. I had like one stuffed monkey that I remember. That was kind of like my little therapy doll. I think I can connect with the ABs in a lot of ways.
I can too. I love the. I mean, same reason I like the submissive. fetish, being submissive, the cross dressing, the femdom, is because it's very comforting not having to make a decision at all.
Oh,
You know what I mean? So
emptying your
I
mind,
get it. I totally get it. Let me
being
ask you this
blank.
though:
Yes.
when you do the mommy dom thing,
Mm.
is it with or without the incest narrative?
Well, I'll tell you, it depends on the AB, and I'll give you an example.
Please.
So, okay, there's two things. So, first thing is, there's always some sort of a component from how an AB was brought up, and it may not be necessarily. I just want to make it clear that it's not always that an individual was molested or there was any kind of parental abuse. Most of the times, it's not. I'd say there are some definite cases of that, and but I would say the majority of the people that I interacted with. And I do interact with, there is no incestual component as far as their background and why they do this. This isn't why they do this. They do this for a feeling of security. The diaper gives them that feeling of security of being able to let go of, maybe their urine. They can just let it go. They don't have to clean it up, and they can feel just completely free of any worry. But I had one in particular, one of my clients came in and we sat across from each other, and I held his hand, and he said specifically he wanted to do diaper stuff, and I said, "Okay." And I had, the big onesies and all that, and I said, "Do you wanna be a—" I always ask questions first. So I said, Do you identify as a baby girl or a baby boy?" And, he said, "Baby girl." And I said, "What age?" And he said, "Around 2." I said, "Okay." And he felt comfortable with me, and I started asking him about basically his upbringing, and did he have good relationships? And he started to tell me that at about the age of 2, he went into the bathroom, and in the bathroom, his mom's makeup was there, and he took her lipstick and he rubbed it all over his body. It felt good. It was smooth and it felt good, and he rubbed it all around his little pee-pee. And it wasn't a sexual thing. He was just 2, but she caught him, and she disciplined him extensively and put him in the bath, clean him up, and then told him to get into the bedroom, and she disciplined him, and from then on, whenever all of the family went out of the house, he was dressed up like a little girl, and he was made to please his mummy, um, and it was really hard for him to tell me that, and he said he couldn't believe he said, "Yeah, I've never talked about this with anybody." So it was like a bit of a therapy session, and he said, I said, "Well, what are you expecting from me?" And he said, "Well, I really want you to I wanna get you some clothes, and I brought you something too." So he brought me, a very specific robe and a very specific outfit, and he said, "This is what my mommy used to wear." And I said, "Sorry, I'm not going to repeat of any of the abuse that you were, put through." And she abused him into his teens. She ended up doing it to other teenage boys down, in the neighborhood, and brought them in and all that. So he was, molested since he was 2, and he didn't understand why he wanted to come see Mommy Dom, but he knew enough to bring the stuff to mimic it. I think he missed his mom. His mom had passed. Um, and I said, "You know what? I wanna give you a mummy experience, the mummy that you should have had. So I'm okay with doing diapers and playing as your mummy, but I'm not going to repeat any of the, abuse that you went through, because that's going to re-traumatize you." And he didn't understand, an older man with a lot of, baggage and anger issues, and he didn't understand that what he actually was desiring was going to re-trigger him and cause him to have some severe issues.
Yeah.
So, you have to be very cautious when you're a mummy domme. Like,
It
you
was
gotta really.
very responsible, respectful, responsible of you to do that too. A typical dom would be like, "Yeah, I don't care. I don't care about your feelings." You know. What do you think about locking diapers? Natasha Strange had some
Oh,
washi
amazing.
diapers. Now you're
Amazing.
Chastity Queen. I would think that you'd lock them into diapers or something like that.
Absolutely. I've done a lot in diapers. And my baby actually wears it's I think that strap there. There's a strap um that can go right across you and hold you into the crib. And so when it's nap time, my baby is all in the diaper and all
Shout
strapped
out to the
down.
concierge. Yeah, sorry.
So my baby is all strapped down and baby has baby mittens and it's a feeling of you have no control over your body. You're just a baby in a crib. Mommy's watching over you, and it's restraint, and you have no choice but to pee pee in your diaper too, or messy, whichever you're into, or both. And it's a full experience of being regressed.
Now, as a dom, the adult baby world, it's a different vibe. Different vibes. That means you get different
Yes.
pushback. It's difficult enough for a dominatrix to set up shop, to set up an identity, to get a client base, to get trust and everything like that. Throw in the whole adult baby narrative, right?
Yeah.
It's just a whole new world. You're already familiar with the sissy narrative, right?
Yeah.
So they're
It
similar, but not.
blends.
They blend. They blend
It
totally.
blends. I'm telling
So,
you.
so let me
Let
ask
me
you
tell
this.
you how.
Oh yeah, how? How do
Can
they?
I tell you quickly?
Sure,
So
please. No,
I'll tell
take
you
your
how
time.
my kink house was set up. My kink house was set up where I had a designated baby room, right? I had a bath. So in the basement, I had a designated baby room. It was a finished basement. I had a bathroom for for the person coming in so that they could either clean or do a bubble bath or whatever it was that we were doing. And I had my dungeon. And I had then a little dress up area too. And so I had all the baby stuff there and so whenever I knew someone was coming, if it was an AB and they wanted to have a strict mummy session with a diaper on, or they were just, for example, not just, but if they were strictly a diaper lover, then oftentimes I found the diaper lovers wanted to go into the dungeon and do some of the humiliation stuff in the dungeon and maybe even get dressed up. So upstairs, before we went downstairs, I had a whole cabinet full of sissy clothes. So I would pick things out for them based upon, you know, how they felt, what they wanted to role play or how they wanted to feel. Because I think feeling is more important than anything. It's about the mind and how you
Oh
want to
yeah.
feel. Yeah. So it worked out well, and so there was some crossover, right? Like, I would I would start in the baby room, and then they got into a different headspace, and then they wanted to finish in the dungeon, or they wanted to
Yeah.
finish in the baby room. So there's no right or wrong,
No,
really.
there is not.
No.
So, what are the challenges that you've encountered as a mommy dom? Like, so there's the dealing with cross dressers, dealing with sissies and stuff like that. There's already that. So
Yes.
you're not the stereotypical one. You're not
No.
just whips and chains anymore. You're taking it to another level. So you're tackling gender, right?
Yes.
Adds a whole other thing. But then
Yes.
now you're tackling age on top of that.
Yes.
So you get a lot of challenge. You get a lot of pushback, right? I would imagine you get pushback from straight cis people, right? From the Christian right,
Oh.
right? From like old school doms, maybe just like leather, straight up the leather. All I do is piss in the face. I don't want them wearing panties. Yeah.
And if that's her
What challenges
boundaries,
have you
whatever.
encountered? What challenges have you encountered?
I think that ABs, while they are one of the most popular fetishes out there and lifestyles, they're also the most degraded and misunderstood. And there's a lot of assumptions that are thrown on them, and it actually transfers to me because I'm the one that's facilitating this. So when you facilitate, turning a man into a sissy baby and diapering them, uh, and they have a headspace of a year, then people think that I am some sort of a pervert, and I have a thing for babies or young children, which is absolutely disgusting to me. And it's disgusting that people would think that they are also, let's be honest, let's say the word, people think that ABs are pedophiles, and they think that people who engage with ABs are pedophiles. It's a big conspiracy. And, I think the Christian right extremists are probably the bigger and religious leaders have proven that, pedophilia hides under many different cloaks, and it
Oh,
can
the
exist
Christians have a
anywhere.
problem. Before they stop before the church starts yelling at people about molestation, they should start pointing the fingers at themselves. Yeah, like it's documented. They've got a problem. All right,
Yeah.
I'm not in.
I
Oh
come
my
from a
God, it's
cult with
just
that
ridiculous.
problem. I come from a
Yeah,
cult
so,
with
so
that
you know what I'm talking
problem.
about. You know exactly what I'm talking about.
They're hypocrites.
I personally think that it's really that whole narrative of ABDL people or sex workers or anything like that. They're breaking up families, or they're
Fuck
pedophiles, or
that
they're
shit.
drug. No, that narrative is being made by people trying to use you, trying to control you and take your money and rights. That is what's really going on.
Hey,
It's all
yeah.
fucking noise to
Hey,
control you. That's
profit
all it is.
ministry.
And to hate
Profit.
other people,
Yep.
to dehumanize other people. And once you dehumanize someone, you can control them. It's as simple as that. And people are fucking assholes. All
You
right.
know what?
I want to
Yeah.
get off my
I
I want to get off
no,
my
it's
high
good.
horse.
No, you're not on a high horse. You're on a very good topic, and I'm on board with you. And I was in a cult. They thought their
Mhm.
shit didn't fucking stink, and it stinks higher than heaven,
Yeah.
so
Okay. No, you're right. So let's talk
hey,
about it here.
kink is about consent,
It
right?
is
It's about
100%. How
consent.
can so now that this narrative is out there and these assholes, these
Yeah.
judgmental assholes, like people who don't judge a book by its cover. I wrote a book. It's got a
Yeah.
very weird cover, a very unique cover.
Well,
Don't judge
yeah.
it by its cover.
No.
Open your mind to it.
That's
Be
right.
like a
Don't
kid. Be like it's new, it's different. Right? Anyway,
yeah. Be
so abuse.
curious.
With this abuse is out there. Now don't get me wrong. There are abusive
Yeah.
people out there.
Oh,
There
hell
are
yeah, there
abusive
are.
mommy doms out there.
Oh my
I
god.
know there are abusive mommy doms out there. Um, some of them have been on this show who I'm not saying they are abusive, but there have been people who I've gotten pushback that who are saying they are. You know what I mean? So we get pushback. How can we make sure we're not abusing power?
Well, first of all, I'm gonna say this first before we get into how. The first statement I wanna say is that anybody in a leadership position who, gets off from, uh, belittling others, and you could be a leader in any area, of society, and you're getting off, and being sadistic, it's abuse. It's abuse. So, how can we make sure not to do that? Well, you cannot, just because you're a dom, right, or a master or in a position, you still have to have ethics, and if you don't have ethics, then you could be a criminal. So watch it, watch yourself, and you need to have some self-discipline before you can discipline others, and that's something that I'm constantly working on. If you want to be a good dom, you look in the mirror first before you make others look in the mirror, because if you can look in the mirror and you can say, yes, I am going to use my position for good, even if it is, spanking somebody or whatever. If that's what they need and that's what they want and they consent to it, that's not abuse. you know if they remove consent in the middle of a session and you keep going, then you've got a problem and you need to go to anger management and you have to figure it out. You shouldn't be in any position of power, really. Sorry, there's my disciplinarian coming out.
So we got to look out for the king community. You and I. You're a mommy.
Yeah.
You got to look out for them. So, what are some red flags? There are other mommy dogs. Now, everyone can't go to you, right? Because they're in other countries or anything like that. And you know,
Yeah.
what if there's someone that really sparked an interest in somebody, but there's some red flags? What are some red flags that mommy doms have that we should stay away from?
Like red flags of the AB, or being
Of
problematic,
either,
or of
of
them.
either, yeah.
Well, I mean, I think, like anything, you've got to listen to your gut. And there are some people that are very good at manipulating people and taking advantage of them because of their fetish. So, if even if it's say a foot lover, and you know that they just can't get enough, and you could take advantage of them with that knowledge. Um, there's always going to be somebody out there who wants to take advantage, but usually they don't. Usually they get found out. Usually in the community, people start to talk, and I think that you have to trust yourself. You got to trust your gut. I mean, I've been scammed. I'm a mummy. I've been scammed. I
I think
can't stop being a mummy because I got scammed, right? People scam me all the time, actually. You know how they're
you mean
scamming me? They're time
no. Oh,
vampires. They're time
oh
vampires.
yes.
They make false promises. They say, "Oh, mummy, I really want you to be my mummy. Let's do a Skype," and I'll do a Skype, and everything's great, and they don't pay, or like they don't tribute as promised. They say, "Oh, mommy, I really want to give you a donation or a tribute," and us, you say, "Okay, how much?" And they say X amount of dollars, and you spend all the time, you get dressed up, you do all that, you really put all of your heart and soul into it, and then they disappear, or they like I said to someone the other night, I'm like the Mother Teresa of chastity in a way, because
Mm.
I love it so much and I give away so much of my time because I love it, that I'm an easy target. I'll be honest, I am. Right.
Yeah.
um the Vice,
Yeah.
yes, the Vice is great. Yes. um so you're not stupid if you get scammed. I've gotten scammed, and you can't give up that spark that's within you because you've gotten scammed. So, have faith. There's a lot of people out there that are really good people, and I'm one of them. So, reach out to me if you want, and I'll try my best to give you my time. But, babies, we have to give in return. We have to do
Mm.
something in return, you know, and that's important to remember. Yeah.
Now, one of the things I would like to talk, I would hear your version of it,
Okay.
um, of starting things. I had Mommy Peach and Mario on the show. Shout out to them. And they were telling the story. They're a couple. Um,
Yes. Oh, nice. A mommy and a daddy.
no, Mommy and
No?
yeah.
A
So,
mommy and a
so
baby?
yes. So
Nice.
Mario, they were dating, like a vanilla couple, and they're dating. Everything's going well, and they're very like successful, and like they're like out of a Hallmark movie. You look at them, right?
Oh.
Right? And then they have this date, and he goes, "I have something to tell you." And he goes out to his car, and he comes back with a bag, and the bag has, you know, pacifiers, diapers, rattle, all that stuff, and he unloads on her. He confesses, tells
Nice.
Mommy Peach everything, and says, "This
That's
is what I'm into."
brave.
Yeah, this is what I'm into, and if I like I want to be with you. I want to do something, but you have to know who this is. What I am. Well, fast forward, they're on my show, and she's Mommy Peach, a professional babysitter, right?
So
So
was she wasn't a mummy when he told her?
no, not at all. Not at all. So that goes to this question. What advice would you give to somebody who's interested in exploring the mommy dom dynamic, either as a dominant or a submissive? It's a hard thing to come across to admit. It's a hard thing to admit, just like cross dressing. You know what? I like the texture of panties, right? I do. I'm proud of it. I don't care. I'm not ashamed. There's no shame in my game. Fuck that. Don't
Yeah.
care, right?
Yeah.
Proud of
Yeah.
it. You only live once, and
That's
if you have a
right.
problem with it, that's on you, asshole. You know what I mean? So, so but I'm not everybody's at that level. You people aren't enlightened like you and I are. What advice would you give to them?
Well, I wanna say something, that it's very common when you first start out and you have this desire as an AB or a diaper lover. You keep it to yourself, and it's nerve-wracking because the majority of people, in vanilla land think it's weird and it's creepy and all this stuff, and so the consideration that you could even find somebody who was on board with you. You can find them online, but it's not the same as a partner. And the first thing you must do is you have to ask yourself, why do I like this? And why am I ashamed? And, obviously I stated some reasons why shame is hard to avoid in that particular, world of kink in AB and DL. It's hard uh, because it's an extreme role play, really, when you think about it. So, um, don't be ashamed. Okay. There are people out there who understand you. There are communities that understand you. Connect with the communities, connect with the AB munches, go to the AB warehouses that have the diapers like Rears. I like Rears. I'm in Canada. They're really a wonderful group there and they've got good items. So start slow, but understand that you're not a weird person. You're not a freak. You're not a creep. You're not, you know, strange. It's and I like it because I connect well with my nurturing side, and the best way to do that is I'm nurturing and loving to my slaves too, but with an AB I can really shine. I can really feel. I can really give them that sense of love and adoration and connection, that motherly connection, that you know Mother Earth feeling of love, that goes beyond sex. And, just give yourself time. Don't give up. Don't quit.
We have another anonymous.
That's good. Anonymous is fine.
All right, yeah. Why should I take advice? Oh no, I'm sorry, not take advice. Why should I be yelled at by someone who shits in a diaper, by an adult who shits in a diaper? And this is
Why
in reference to this is in reference to an ABDL person. I cannot name the names. This is a friend.
No,
Of the
no,
show
no.
who's
I
been on
don't.
the
I don't
show.
want names.
Yeah, but the person who texted me is a friend of the show who's been on the show.
Okay, tell me this scenario.
I'm about to. So this friend of mine has been on the show. This ABDL person who has nothing to do with my show started contacting people on my show, right?
Oh,
And just causing trouble for them.
yeah.
Causing trouble and causing trouble for other, you know, other kinky people. Basically,
Huh.
it's very preachy. The person is very preachy.
I think I met this person. Not met,
You
but I
may.
think I think
I
I've dealt
do
with
not
him
want to give
online.
them. I do not want to give them any.
No, no, no. I'm not. No, no. I'm not saying who.
Yeah, but in other words, so in response, the woman who's been on my show is a friend of my show. She says, "Why the fuck should I listen to any adult who shits in a diaper for fun?" So,
Okay, so
what's your response to that?
she actually walked right into what he wanted.
Yeah.
He's just a degradation whore. He's probably a human toilet. That's different than AB. Yeah, so there's a lot of differences. And he's just a scummy person, but he wants people to tell him that. So when I dealt with this individual online, he was preachy to me as well. And Bunny actually went on and did some research, and it turned out this person likes to shit in diapers and do all sorts of degradation, play and whatever. But he was being all high and mighty, and yet we kept it very careful. We were very careful as to not kink shame him because
Yes.
because because there's other people in the conversation too, and there's other people watching from a distance that aren't in the conversation. And the minute you start to bring that out about somebody and start to pick away at their profiles, you just end up looking like an asshole, right?
Mm-hmm.
And he's sometimes slaves or these people that claim to be slaves set traps. I've been put in a lot of situations where they're trying to set a trap for me to get angry, so my sadist comes out. and they're looking for those. That's the time vampires, right? They're trying to use
Yeah.
her skills as a sadist or his skills as a sadist to respond exactly as they did.
And you know what I say? I've said this from the beginning. Never waste the dom's time.
I love you for saying that because
Never waste the dom's
that's
time.
a big
So
problem in
let me
the
ask you
community.
this: is aftercare for mommy doms different than other dominatrixes, and how?
I don't think so. You know, aftercare can mean a lot of things for a lot of different slaves and subs, regardless of their kink. You know, some pain sluts need to be cuddled afterwards with a blanket, a warm blanket. Like, you know, one of the events that happens here in Canada, a lot of the slaves, including the ABs, but the non-ABs and DLs that are being, you know, given heavy impact they all have in their aftercare kit in their case, or their dom or mummy has a fuzzy warm blanket, right? Like, I even when I beat Bunny, I always have either a jacket or like a robe or something so that afterwards when he's coming down off of it, he feels safe and comfortable and secure. So I would say aftercare, if you can do your aftercare to everybody like you do aftercare for an AB, which is extremely effective, then you're doing a good job.
Good point. You always say the great, like you. I always say this line that you say, and
What's that?
I say it on every show pretty much. The best chastity device, the best chastity device is the one that fits. Yeah.
Yes.
So,
Yes.
are there any specific activities or rituals that are in common in the mommy dom dynamic? Because I'm very, I'm an ADHD. There's certain rituals that I do. Everything. It's like
Yes.
I do it, and I know it's gonna have a good. I'm gonna have a good night. I'm gonna have a good time. You know what I mean?
Yes.
Certain songs, certain. Hell, those are down to the shampoo that I in the soap that I use. You know what I mean? So,
Yeah.
are there any specific activities or rituals that are common in the mommy dom dynamic?
Um, I would say rituals are also individual. I'm not being very good at being specific, for because, that's the right
Yeah, just
answer.
like for
It's the
you
right
specifically. This is about
It's
you.
the right answer. You know, everybody has rituals. I have rituals. I had rituals in different scenes, for myself. I had specific music. I had, you know, ABs have, for example, they like a specific character. Maybe they like Disney. Maybe they like Sesame Street. Maybe they like to color. Maybe they like to play with Lego to get them into the headspace. Every AB has something different. Um, you know, a diaper lover that I interacted with, he liked everything to be white. You know, it's very specific, and he liked to wear the diaper, but he also liked to wet white clothes, like white pants,
Mm,
white briefs. Like it was everything was about white. Everything is unique. I think if we put everything into specific categories and say, well, we should do this ritual, it's kind of like spell magic, for example. A woman was brand new in the spell workshop I went to yesterday on mirror magic, just to sort of make it explain my situation here or this whole story. She said, "Am I supposed to say something particular or specific when I'm doing a spell?" And the teacher was really good. She said, "You know when you watch those shows and they've got rhyming spells and you got to say it exactly in spell books and you say, you know what? It's individual to you because the universe hears you, right? It has
yes.
to be authentic. And how can you get into your ultimate headspace in a fetish, uh, situation or in an AB regression situation unless you're doing the things that are specific to you, right? And so maybe how they wet their diaper. Maybe a lot of them have to turn away from mommy to be able to pee because that's really hard to do. If I put a diaper on you right now and I told you to wait and I told you to pee in it and I'm the dom and I'm telling you to, and I'm the mummy dom and I say,
Yes.
okay, baby Nikki, you got to pee now. You got, you've
Okay.
got, you've got 1 minute to pee. And I put my timer on and I look at you and you go, mommy, I can't do it if you're looking at me. And I'll be, okay, so I'll turn around. You still can't do it. Nice. You know what I'll say? I'll say, "Okay, baby, how about you try sitting down, on the little potty and try it that way? Or how about mommy puts on the water?" And then you're able to do it. But I tell you, like, there's very specific ways that a lot of these ABs will go pee-pee or what they will do with the pee, or the messy, and it is a ritual. It is what makes them connect with the feeling, right? It's about connecting with the feeling.
Like sissification, cross-dressing, and stuff like that, there's loneliness
Oh,
associated
yeah.
with fetish, and that's why, like, there's you don't feel alone when you're with mommy, right?
No.
So, what are some other resources or communities that you'd recommend for people who have this fetish, who are looking to learn, looking to connect, who don't have a clue of what to do, really?
You know what? Go to FetLife, and I really do believe that FetLife, it's free. You don't have to put your face up. You can start a profile with just a picture of a flower or whatever. Go to all of the groups that are AB related, and you can realize as you read through those groups, the different topics that stand out to you, and you can look at the different mummies that are on FetLife, and you can actually see that you're not strange. You're not alone. You don't have to feel, um, like on the outskirts, right? And I do think that some BDSM groups, kinda treat different different little groups, as on the outskirts, maybe the certain ones are degrading to the sissies or to the doms even, like, I get people that hate me because I'm a strong powerful, feminine energy, and they don't like that. So there's always going to be somebody who hates you, but the best thing to remember is don't hate yourself. Love yourself. When you love yourself, then the universe will see that, and when you're grateful for realizing what your fetish is, that is the beginning steps, the baby steps into, bliss, really. Take baby steps, little ones, and you'll get there. Yeah.
So, what would- what do you find the most rewarding about the mommy dom role?
I have found that while there are a lot of difficult ABs, out there, I found out that it's not just ABs, it's every kind of fetish, every kind of group has their problem people, right? So once you realize that, just forget about it and just be yourself. The most rewarding part of the role is finding the most open-minded individuals you could ever find, accepting, willing to go places other people are not, willing to accept things that most people won't do. They're not squeamish about wetting a diaper or a messy diaper or anything like that. It's refreshing, and with my baby, the first person who ever really opened them up to admitting their true desires from being, a sissy into an AB, she really Nancy really wanted to be a sissy baby, but for many years, Nancy was a sissy, a crossdresser, and when she met this one mistress, started with an A, I'm not gonna say who, they met in a hotel, very scared, very nervous, and the minute that my baby admitted, what they wanted to do and that, "I'd like to be girly," and this, that, and the other, and what she was excited.
Mhm.
She was happy, she was open, she's like, "Let's play in that, let's," Nancy didn't have anything, like, didn't have any outfits or anything, but they pretended, they were in high heels, or they were acting like a sissy, or they were doing this, or they were doing that, and it was a light bulb moment, and then from there on, it's like, well, I'm gonna get diapers and, or, Depends or whatever to play and try it, and it's just that one person who says, "So what? Just do it,"
Yeah,
you know?
Yeah.
That's it.
And like when it comes to the cross dress, my friend Cherry, also known as C Bombs from Conversations with Cross Dressers, who I think you should be on her show.
Oh,
Seriously,
yeah?
you would,
I'd love
yeah,
that.
yeah, yeah. She always says whenever she sees anyone gets like mad at a cross dresser or anything like
Oh,
that, it's so funny. She goes, "It's fucking fabric, just
I
fabric."
know.
All this is fabric.
I know.
So, all
And I
right.
wanna say one thing too quick.
Yeah.
Sorry, I don't wanna
No, it's all
dominate the
right.
situation, but
Oh, you're a dominatrix. Yeah, that's what
I
you do.
am, but I wanna be respectful too. So, a lot of ABs are into sensation play too. So,
Okay.
some do it for sensation play, for the smells, for the feelings, and the most erotic experience that you can have if you are a sensation player, if you drop your guard, you
Mhm.
say, "It's just fabric," or, "It's just a piece of material," is to put on a diaper. And to
Uh,
try and just try it once. Everybody's gotta try it once. I tried it. Okay, and I'm gonna give women, who are squirters a little tip.
oh, please.
You put a diaper on, right? Can't just be a white one, whatever. You wanna fancy it up, who cares? And you use that vibrator, the magic wand, on the outside, you will never feel a vibration as titillating as that. And not only that, you don't need any of those blankets there, Nicholas, for your girl,
Yes. Even
right?
the splash
You just
blankets are amazing.
They are
Yes, they are.
amazing. I love
Yes.
them too, but you know what? If you ever wanna do a little, baby girl play and you throw on a diaper and force her in the diaper and you duct tape that diaper on. I love using duct tape. You don't need a fancy belt. Duct tape it
Yeah.
on and say, "Okay, you're tied down now. I'm putting a diaper on you, and I'm gonna do whatever I want to you. I'm gonna make you squirt and make an absolute wet mess of that diaper." And I'm telling you, it's just fun. For God's sake, let's just
Yes.
have some fun in life,
Let's have some fun.
you
Oh,
know?
speaking of diapers, cloth or disposable?
Oh, that is the question. That's the big question of the day. It depends on the situation. If you're gonna go out in public with your day clothes on and you don't want to make a wet stain, then, disposable's easy and quick. You can wear a fabric out in public with a diaper cover on, but I've never found the diaper covers to be 100% foolproof, and it's kind of like a girl who got her period for the first time, and she has an accident and there's a big red stain.
Yeah.
Like, you wanna sort of maintain some of your dignity when you're first trying things out. So, like, in that case, she couldn't control it, and this is what happens in life. But when you have a choice and you're an adult and you're consenting and you're doing this, think about all of the what ifs. What if I do have an accident and I'm at the grocery store and it leaks through into my pants and someone sees it, right? We don't really wanna do that because other people aren't asking to see that, you know? So, I would say I prefer the disposable, and what I would do with some of them to really make them crawl on the ground is
Mhm.
I think I put up to 12 diapers. I think I got up to 12 or 15, wait a second, diapers on one person, and it gave them the big puffy bum. Yeah, like big. But the great thing is this, you can reuse all the ones that didn't get wet,
Yeah.
right? As long as you don't stick it down too tight. Then you
Mhm.
just pull it off and put it back on its little sticker, and you still and it's fun, try it.
Big puffy bum.
Yeah, because babies all have
Say
big
it.
puffy bums,
Just
right?
say big puffy bum.
Big
Alright,
puffy bum. I have to do
let's
a
get back
poem about that.
big pu yes,
I'm gonna
definitely.
write
Or
that
the
down.
art the
For
YKF
the
art
kink
poem.
helps kink, yeah.
Kid helps
I'm
kid.
gonna write that down.
Alright, so how do you with everything going on, with some of the prejudice and everything like that, some of the scammers and everything like that, you have to being a mommy dom, safety and making
Oh,
them feel safe, emotionally safe, physically safe. I mean, that's what they're looking for. They're looking for you or someone like you to feel that safety. So how do you ensure the safety? And I'm a big fan of the simplicity of it, of looking through the like even like the tiny things that you think are nothing mean something. You know what I mean? So how do you
yeah.
ensure safety and well-being of an adult baby during a session?
A lot of discussion before getting into baby space. So I think it's important to get to know each other a little bit, and to, if if you're a pro, then sit down with them and give them 15 to 20 minutes minimum to talk. Ask questions. What appeals to you about this? What's the best part of being an AB or a diaper lover? Get into that. Figure out their headspace. If you're a good reader of psychology and behavior, you're going to tap into it quickly. If you're not, then you're going to need very specific things, laid out for you and how they want to engage. And then you need to follow those strictly, because if you trigger them, then it could take them out of baby space, but it could also cause them more trauma. So we have to really be balanced in your approach and be caring. And I will say something on another side of the spectrum is, so in that case, I'm talking about ABs that are good, and that I had one that was very problematic. And he wanted to make mommy pregnant. So he was a toddler, and he was very
When you
big.
say, just so you know, just when you say toddler, you mean they're legally an adult identifying as a toddler.
Headspace. Sorry, I should be specific.
Yeah.
His headspace was that age. So,
So how did he try to get you pregnant? Or
3, 4. Well, he was a very tall man, played football, and when he got into the headspace where he wanted to make mommy pregnant, he got me on the floor. But he was strong, And so,
very horrible.
no, but psychology and knowing about your baby, your AB, and not all of them are going to do this, of course. This is like a one-off, right? Or two off, maybe. But I had to talk to him and baby. So I had things hidden that I could have hurt him. I could have grabbed right under the couch, because I was right beside the couch, and pulled out my hammer and hit him easily. I could have. But I wanted to try the soft approach first. So I talked to him as baby, and I said, "No, baby," because I called him baby, even though he was, a headspace
Oh yeah, of course.
toddler. I call him baby. And I said, "Baby, that's not good behavior. You need to get off of mommy." And he kept saying, "I want to," like, it was a sort of a rhythm for him, like, "I want to make mommy pregnant. I'm going to make mommy pregnant." And so I had to get him out of that headspace. And by talking to him in baby talk, I was able to reason with the baby, because that's what triggered him. He became that thing, the bad one.
Yeah.
And he stopped. And then he went into a weird state, and so I had to cover him in blankets and then get him out. But I had to cover him in blankets to get him back. Right, when you're dealing with people's minds, you can end up taking people to places that you don't realize you're going. And even the mummy won't realize she's going to. And that goes for any DS, okay? I don't wanna pinpoint AB and say it's just AB and freak everybody out. This happens. I had one who had an incest fantasy, but I didn't realize it till after, and that turned into a potential rape. I think it's more so the incest scenario where you're the mummy. So I didn't really know. Like, if you don't know, then you can be in trouble. And that was bad. And I was being protected at the time. Someone was watching the dungeon, so I was able to get him out. But he had me on the floor too. So I don't know what it is about the floor, but he had got me on the floor, and he wanted to do stuff to fist me, right? Not in the face, but right?
Yeah.
So thankfully I was able to talk him out of it too. But try talking and then violence. You might have to go that route. Protection, self-defense, but it's with everybody, right? And that's why I just want to stress, know who you are, as an AB and why you're doing it, and also know who you are as a Mommy Dom or Daddy Dom, and understand why you're doing it. And if you have positive reasons for it, or you have therapeutic reasons for it, or you have, you need to be nurtured, that's all good stuff. But if there's some precarious reasons, then you need to stop. You need to not do it. You need to not go there. But, some people, they can't be stopped. So
I'm thank you for sharing that.
that's okay.
Just
It's
thank you
empowering,
for
right?
sharing.
It's survival.
It is. It is
We're
personally,
all
thank you.
survivors. I
We
mean,
are.
all the ABs that want to reconnect with their inner child who didn't have a childhood, for example, like my baby, the reality was, you know, my baby had nurturing people surrounding them, but surrounding her, but there was one figure who was very cold and negative, and I mean, I don't think all babies focus on trauma in their past. I mean, even my baby doesn't. It's like, it's just how it was back then. So, you can be positive and you just love wearing diapers, and it's a role play thing, or it's a headspace thing, right? And you feel good and you love the love.
Now,
There's nothing wrong with loving love.
are they these adult babies? Are they constantly trying to suckle on your tits?
They used to, and I had milk for a long time. Like I had, it was like, it wasn't from having a child. It just never went away. I just have it. Um, which is exciting for many. But I had to do something to stop it because it was not good for
Mm.
my health, right?
Yeah.
Some mommy doms will try to get their body to produce milk, and you can do that in a number of ways, right? Do you want to know how?
Sure, please enlighten us.
Okay. So, maybe you've been a mother and you just keep it going. So, if you want to keep it going, you can pump your breasts and you can save the milk and you can feed it to your ABs. You can use a hand pump. You can use an electric pump. The electric pump that they use in the hospitals, which you can rent, are very effective. You just put the suction on there and you just press the button and you sit back and have some water and just let it pump, pump, pump. And it will really keep it going. For years, I'd hear a baby crying and my breasts would fill up because I was
Yeah.
pumping. I was pumping, and you know what's great? If Bunny were here, so that pump, the breast pump. God damn it, it's good on a cock too, right?
Does it?
Like that mechanical one. Like if you can get an old one from like a hospital supply place, it is a fantastic cocksucker, and you can collect the cum, right? Because it's all there's all these
Wow.
attachments, right? So there you can put the bottle on the thing. So there's the hoses, but then there's the bottle, there's the suction thing, and you can put it on different speeds. Like don't do just the hand pump. Get the mechanical one. And I did it to Bunny, and I'm telling you, he had the best time. That's great.
No, see, this is an educational show.
It is,
Yeah.
isn't it?
This
You know, this is where it's really good for, everybody that we do this. It's like a public service announcement. Like,
it
go to
is.
your local breast pump location and rent one and
They're
get all
getting
of
rid of
the
NPR
attachment.
here, so this is a national public radio these days. The internet.
Good. Yeah, I
Um,
know. It is.
so okay, let's talk about hypno, right? Hypno. When it comes to hypno, do you do mommy dom hypno? I know you do sissy hypno, but is there a mommy dom hypno?
I should do more mummy dom stuff. I was considering doing a podcast just strictly for mummy. And, I can do it in person. I can do it on Skype, and I can make you I don't need to be in front of you with a little
Oh
I use my voice, right? And I
yeah.
make you breathe. It's breathing techniques. It's all of that. It's visualization. It's relaxation. It's um But I should. There are some mummy hypnos out there that you can listen to for sure.
What would you say? No, but you also do sissy hypno. Everybody has a different style.
Yes.
Everyone has a different style. Give you an example. Shout out to Mistress Angie from
Hello,
Belgium.
Mr. Sanji. So
What
I
a
would
wonderful person. This woman comes in
really
so she makes you so comfortable. She makes you
nice.
feel so comfortable. She has the sound effects and everything. Like, oh,
See?
we're in Asia, or we're in Paris, or we're this, and she does the running water, like everything. She calms you down, and then all of a sudden she takes it to this other level where it's like, oh, now you're being sold into sex slavery, and now you have to deal with you're in a dungeon in France, and you're fearing for your life, and like there's rats, and you're like, God damn, what the fuck? This is not what I want.
I love her. You know what? She's already captured what she needs to do, and she's a natural. I mean, it's about getting them calmed down,
So what
getting
would
them
your style is?
something
Would you describe
similar. But I think basically letting people know that I'm not there to hold on a sec. I got a little pop up on my screen there. Can you see me okay? Ah,
Yeah, I can see it great.
oh my, now
Yeah.
the music. I don't know why this is happening. Okay. I think making people aware that what I'm saying is not going to like, they know what's happening in the session, but it's up to them to let their bodies relax. And then when it's done, it's finished. But they can continue, they can go back and listen and listen and listen. And it's about relaxation. It's about listening to my commands.
Yeah.
And I think that most slaves, if they hear a woman talking to them and telling them what to do, that they need to be locked up, they're immediately going to go into that submissive headspace, and it's about relaxing. And so she's right. That mistress she's got it right down pat. I mean, she knows
Shout
what she's doing.
out Angie from Belgium. I love you. Uh,
Yeah,
all right.
we
Um,
love
I
our
mean,
Europeans.
there are many reasons why a person would come to you to be hypnotized. And first of all, you have this amazing voice, even after the surgery and all that stuff. Oh, Chastity Queen. Oh,
No,
Mommy Celeste. It's amazing.
I don't know. It's
Yeah, I do. Um, so
thank you.
there are many reasons why a person wants to be hypnotized. For example, the sissification. Sometimes they want to be turned into.
Yeah,
Sometimes they want to just feel it for a little while. Sometimes they want to change their lives. There's for the better. Some people want to quit
yeah,
smoking.
yes.
so so what are the why do what's the reason people come to you? And what's the reason that you
They
encounter
they They need a break. They need to fall into a totally different world and escape. They need escape. It's escapism. It's beautiful escapism. It's the kind that takes you into your fantasy world, into that little place, that little beautiful world in your mind, and you have somebody that's looking into your head and saying, you need to do this, you need to do that, it would be amazing if you did that, and because it'll change your world and your life, and it does. And when we're able to unlock our creativity through somebody's words, that is the key to intelligence, that's the key to change. And so it can help you to cope with your day-to-day living, day-to-day life, because it can be very stressful. And I think we all need a de-stressor, decompression. And especially,
oh,
I'm
the
going to say men in particular need to decompress.
oh, without a doubt. That goes to the next question. How has erotic hypnosis helped the lives of your subs?
It's not the main thing that I do, but it's definitely it helps them, it facilitates acceptance, knowing that if they believe in a female-led relationship, that there is a dominant woman who wants to control them, who wants to lead them, who wants to make them a better slave, a better man, overall. And I think that's very comforting, because there are a lot of relationships right now in the world, in husband wife partners, wife, husband, whatever, poly, everything, where there's no connection anymore. I think they get so wrapped up in, paying bills, which is stressful, that they forget about each other. And so sometimes you need to just disconnect and put your earphones on and listen, and
Yes.
escape. Yeah.
Now, is sissy hypno dangerous?
No, no. And not if you understand that you're just doing it for a specific amount of time. Like if I'm doing a little hypnosis session, it's maybe, I don't know, 45 minutes or 30 minutes, 45 minutes. And I always have the beginning and end. So it's, you start off saying relax, breathe, but you're going to know what's happening in this hypno session. And then at the end, you kind of wake them up, you get them out. So it's like an aftercare. I think hypnosis needs to be looked at like a BDSM scene at a dungeon. So you do a warm up, right? Then you get into the heavy side where they're really feeling it and they're getting into subspace. And then you do the aftercare as you're letting them, off the cross, you're softly touching them and you're helping them get off the cross. You're getting them down sitting on the chair and you're putting the blanket around them. It's similar, right? It's just it's mental BDSM.
Yes. Now, there, as someone who follows the sissification narrative, shout out to Daddy Delilah, Nikki Graziano. There's also Mistress Violet and Molly. But there's also another one, the Cruel Goth Girlfriend, 666. I don't know.
Oh, nice.
But they're from, I think they're in Canada as well.
Really? Oh, that's cool.
Yeah. But a lot of the narrative is basically the sissy's locked in chastity, fully dressed, wig, stuff like that, hooked up to a fucking machine and have headphones on with sissy hypno, forced to watch sissy hypno as well.
Good.
All right.
That's immersive.
Yeah, oh, that's immersive. How long does it take for the long-term effects of constant sissy hypno to manifest?
Oh, so it's behavioral. I see. So somebody who wants to become a full-time sissy, basically, or at them as much as
into a sissy.
Pardon?
Or turn someone into a sissy.
Oh, to turn somebody into a sissy. You can turn their head into a sissy, and then they can facilitate when they're able, because not everybody can be a full-time sissy.
Yeah, it's true.
Seriously, let's be real. Yeah. But you can have the sissy mentality. You can walk around town.
Sometimes I clean the whole house in a French maid outfit yesterday. Look,
yeah,
I'm wearing this today. Underneath, I'm wearing something else, but still.
No, but you can remain in the sissy headspace 24/7, right? That's 100% doable. But long-term effect, I don't know if, it depends on the person how much they want it, how open they are to it. And I would say, if you've made a decision, you have to choose first. Okay, I want to be a sissy. I love this lifestyle. This is who I am. You've done it. You're a manifestation of that. You manifest what you want, right? And you're reasonable. Of course, you're not going to go out in public with a full sissy outfit, to a grocery store. But I mean, some do. But I think that's put
on Instagram and FetLife.
Yeah, I know. It's kind of
sissy hypno. There's different scenarios. Like I said, I was talking to Mistress.
Every scenario of the book.
Every scenario. So, but what is the most popular?
I would probably say sucking cock.
Really? Forced by
chastity to make them more feminine, bimbification, that sort of thing. I mean, I don't do enough of it. I should do more. I just don't have, I wish I had 48 hours in, the morning.
One thing I do want to talk about, I think that you have perspective on this that
okay.
Don't. You know what I mean? A lot of people, there are a lot of doms out there, they play the cuck holding role play, stuff like that.
Oh, it's real life for me.
You live it. So cuck holding. What are some creative ways to cuckold people?
Oh, I mean, chastity is the way to do it. I mean that's absolutely the way to do it. You just, and are you talking about me cuckolding slaves?
Yeah, sure. Yes.
Okay, so pop them in chastity and start doing. You could do a little cuckold hypnosis. But you have to warm some of them up. I mean, it's hard to get people out of the alpha, narrative of one man, one woman, right?
Yes.
Like it can take some people years. But some people just like it. though. Some people just automatically want it.
That goes to the next question. Men seem to love cuckolding more these days. Why do you think that is? Before I answer the question, I'm not saying any names, but
No, of course.
I have a friend, right, who
I have a friend.
let's just say
Name Nikki.
he was married. Let's just say he is married at the time, but his wife cheated. His wife cheated on it, and he didn't know. And she finds out years. He finds out what I'm doing, and he's like,
Yeah.
"My fetish is the cuckolding fetish.
Yeah.
Fetish is the cuckolding."
She
I'm like,
triggered it.
"Well, if you won't, yeah, I guess so." I don't even think, but it's getting more popular. I see it
Yeah.
more in porn. I see it. I know doms who are doing it more, or at least talking about it more. Why do you think that is?
I think that femdom has probably facilitated that. I think that just trying to think about this because, I'd say about 10 years ago, if not more, well, I mean, forever, most men were like, oh, I'd love two women, right? And me, I want to just fuck two women. And so basically the woman was being cucked. His wife was being cucked, right? Because the man's fucking another woman in front of her. So now it's like a role reversal where the men are wanting to watch. And I think a lot of it has to do with the fact that we're online more. There's a lot more voyeurism. And I think that it's facilitating that thought process in the mind where, well, hold on, I kind of like it when I'm watching a woman get fucked. But, like, am I bi? Am I like, it's raising questions in men's heads. And I think that it's enabling them to explore maybe their bisexuality too, to a degree. Not all cucks are gay or bi, of course not. But I think that it opens the way for that conversation. And I think that there are a lot of more men that are connecting with a feminine side too, and it's like watching your girlfriend, get fucked. It's like a girl party. I think there's a feminized side too. So like for Bunny's loves feminization and caging. And so when I'm doing a scene with somebody else, he feels more feminine. I call him my lesbian and girlfriend, and he wants me happy. He wants me to have fun with guys, and maybe he's sort of working it out in his head, playing it out as if it's him dressed as a woman, right?
Yeah.
So he's actually projecting. I'm not saying this is what he is doing, but I'm saying a lot of men are projecting their desires, even though maybe they don't want to act them out. They're projecting their subconscious desire to truly be feminized by a cock, because that's the ultimate feminization, is to be in the woman's role. I'm sorry,
Yeah.
it's true. To finally get fucked. It's
Mhm.
like, yeah, and I have somebody who that happened to. He was okay, so he was uh, put in diapers by his wife to humiliate him, and then she started escalating it to, well, I'm going to start bringing men over. So whenever I tell you to put on a diaper and sit in the corner, I'm going to play with a man. So not only did she diaper him, but she then cucked him. And he said she just did it to facilitate cheating, basically, right? Because he kind of wanted to play in the AB role, but
Yeah.
she used it to facilitate cheating. So I'm thinking that this is a way that men can keep their relationship. They kind of say, well, you know what? Fine, I'll let her have some fun, but I'm not going to lose her. In this case, she was manipulating him so that she could cheat and then ended up with the other guy, which didn't work out. So karma kind of got her. Karma's a bitch, right? So she got
Now,
fucked.
that's
Yeah.
interesting. Do you find sometimes there's a flip side to that coin where the sissy narrative, the cuckold narrative is so ingrained in the submissive that they kind of control the narrative
They
and they
do.
control it in a way that it makes it all seem like it's the woman's or the dom's choice,
Uh-huh.
dom's thing. Do you ever see that happening?
It's a trap.
Yeah.
It's a trap. You see, the object of their affection is their partner.
Yeah.
And what's better porn than seeing your partner get fucked right in front of you, live?
Yes.
You don't pay for that entertainment, it's free.
In I write about this in The Coolest Way to Kill Yourself. Lynn would find women, bring them home,
See?
so I
Yeah.
could fuck with them, and then Lynn would be in the corner, and
She's the cuck.
I would have to degrade Lynn. I would have to say, "This woman is such a better
Yes.
mother than you. Her
Yeah.
tits are so much better than you," and like,
Yes.
and the other woman would like jerk me off, and I would have to, and I'd come on Lynn's face as she was masturbating.
She was a degradation slut.
And she loved it. She's like crying and coming at the same time. You
Aw.
know what I mean? And I'm
That's
like,
beautiful.
I know. It's
Look at
definitely like
you.
my job, right? It's definitely like it's a lot more black.
Wow.
Let's put it that way. It's it
You
definitely.
know, so you're telling me
Hmm.
that she would find people for you.
Yes.
You know what?
And bring them.
You know what? She was setting you up, which is
That was
good. You
that
had
was
fun.
her narrative. It was something she chose, she wanted. Now, I gotta admit though, on the whole sissification narrative, the whole femdom narrative,
Yes.
as this when I'm in the submissive role, because of expectations and because of, I do sometimes feel like I'm controlling things, like because
Yeah.
in the sense that like I have this narrative, this vision in my mind, right? This fantasy in my mind portrayed, and I projected it onto the person, or the people who I'm playing with, or
And how do you feel? How do you feel when it doesn't work out the way that your sissy bitch side wants it to work out? Do you get angry?
that's where the philosophy comes in, right? The philosophy of submission comes in. Be
Good.
proud to submit regardless of what happens, right?
That's good.
Seriously. It's you fucking be proud to serve, right? You're serving kink, you're serving your dom, you're like
But it takes time to learn that,
yeah, it sure did. Yeah,
right? See, even for you, I'm sure it took you time, right, to learn that?
okay, I got a really important question here.
Yes.
All
Okay,
right,
let's do it.
strap in here.
Strap
This
in. Okay, I can
we were
strap in.
arguing. We were arguing with this, all right? So, all right. You're forcing someone to suck a cock for the first time in their lives, right?
Yeah.
Right? Do you put blue cheese or barbecue sauce on the balls? You have to
God
choose one.
damn it.
You have to
God,
choose one.
it would have to be barbecue sauce. Blue cheese is gross.
Yeah. Okay.
No one wants cheese dick.
All right. So how do
Oh,
you
you're
prepare for
funny.
typical day of mommy doming, right? There's the dominatrix. I have a lot of dominatrixes friends, and they all have their way of preparing. And each session is different, right? There's the mommy. Sometimes they're brutal. Sometimes sometimes you just got to make a mangina, right? With this, you got to
Yeah.
get your staple gun out, and you just got to just make a mangina. You're in a different headspace than a mommy dom, right?
Yeah.
So when you're mommy doming, how do you prepare? What's a typical preparation day, or typical
Oh, mentally prepare. You
or
know,
physically everything, music?
okay. I know, okay, let's pretend I'm having a session. So now I'm more of like, I'll do some Skypes and online stuff, but I'm more so, it's my lifestyle as well. But in the Dom world, I would know what type of individual was coming into my space, the type of AB, and say if it was really a baby, and didn't want any kind of sexual touching or anything like that, then I would dress the part. And when I dress the part, I start to feel the part. And then I listen to music that's soft and sweet. And I think about the individual. I think about their headspace. And, if I've seen them a few times, I kind of know. So I prepare the space. I get their favorite kind of diaper, and I really do before they come over, or before they did come over. This is few years ago now. Um, it took me about 2 hours to prepare, and getting dressed getting my outfit was the first thing, but I would do makeup and all of that before I got finally dressed, and then listen to music, think about the scene, get it set up. Maybe Bunny was helping clean up the baby room and make sure the specific blankets are ready, and maybe they were drinking urine out of a baby bottle, or maybe they were having formula. I had to have everything ready. Or maybe they're in the high chair. They're going to be in the high chair. It had to all be ready. And for me, it's easy. I don't know why. I'm just naturally a mothering type.
Yes. Okay.
I'm creative, so I'm able to slip into different headspaces, but I have to get it. Like you say, it's a ritual.
Is face sitting a privilege?
I didn't face it. It is a privilege.
Platforms.
I don't mind. I don't
Well,
mind. I don't mind answering that. It's like face sitting. I'll do it for my partners. I'm not doing it. Like I'll piss on people, but I'm not letting them near my vagina.
platforms. There are a lot of different platforms. It's always changing. No one's on
Yeah.
MySpace. No one's on Friendster. Twitter's now X.
Yeah, I
And it
hate it. Yeah.
sucks.
Blue
You
sky.
know, Blue skies. Yeah. So then you have your podcast. There's
Yes.
iTunes and stuff like that. But where can we find you? What platforms can we find you?
Oh, the podcast itself, you can go on Apple Music, you can go on Spotify, you can go on all of the different. You go to any of the sites and you're going to find my podcast. But as far as meeting a mummy, I would say, FetLife, there's a lot of AB podcasts that are very good. My baby listens to one. I forget the name of it. I'm not good at recalling quickly in the moment, but I should see if I can find that podcast. Let's just say, look up AB stuff. You're going to find it on the podcast, and local community munches and baby events. Yes.
All right, and definitely please check out. We got more questions. We're not done.
Okay, and I wanted to mention another thing at the end.
Oh yeah, of course. But if you go to the ABDL on Your Kinky Friends, right? I don't know if you can see my site. Yes.
Yeah, I can.
There's Governess Catherine Worthington. She's got a whole
Nice.
nursery. Talks
Wow,
about
wonderful.
yeah, there's all these people. Holly Golightly, Cat Marie, Mommy Madeline,
Yes.
Savage. That's you. Look.
Hey, there's my more intense girl there.
Yeah. So, okay, let's get back to the fun. Rapid fire recommendations. They always change.
Yes.
So what's going on? Recommend a film.
Oh my God. That polka one was awesome.
Oh, is it Bernie or the Polka King?
The Polka King.
The
The Polka
King.
King.
Yeah, okay.
I love the polka. That was good. That was fun. I mean, it was fun, but it was like shocking all at once. And the Pope was involved too.
I'm curious what you think of Baby Girl. I watched Baby Girl. Check this out with
what is it?
she's Nicole Kidman, right? She's
Oh,
this powerful CEO, and she becomes
oh
like
my.
submissive to this young 20-year-old man, right?
Ooh.
So it's all about and it's written and directed by a woman. So it's like what 50 Shades of Grey should have been. Let's put it that
Oh
way.
my gosh, I gotta look at that.
Yeah, and I watched the whole thing, locked in chastity in a French maid outfit and on a collar and leash.
Is it on Netflix?
It's on Max right now. Yeah.
Okay.
And after that, all of that went away, and I dommed her that night. That's the beauty of being a switch. Yes.
Oh, I know you're in a perfect situation.
I'm very lucky to be alive and thankful for
Yes.
everybody in my life, especially you, Chastity.
And I can see the aura of happiness.
Thank you very much. Rapid fire recommendations. Okay, recommend a book.
Oh. You did this to me last time and I blanked out, and it's the book upstairs that I have open. It's like my Bible, and I always forget the title of it. But it's about success. It's about It talks about sexual transmutation in it. I've talked about it before on my podcast. I can't recall. Sometimes I think with my PTSD, there's certain things like when I had to remember scriptures all the time in the cult. And so it's like a block for me. So you say, you know, a book like I'm going to show you this one here that I've got on my desk. Okay. I love this guy. He's Canadian. His name is Bob. He's dead now. His name is Bob Proctor, but this is one of the 12 power principles for success. And it doesn't just talk about, you know, making money. It talks about how to be a successful individual. And I think that we all need to read books like this to personally be, successful. And yeah, I just don't know if it would mention the other book. It's upstairs anyway.
Recommend a song.
Oh, Jerkin by Amel and the Sniffers.
Okay.
Have you heard that one?
Yes. Recommend a television show.
Television show. I don't watch a lot of TV. And I'm not very rapid fire at this point, so I don't have time to watch TV.
They never go rapid fire. One thing, you Canadian, not only do I have a special love for SCTV, but
oh yes, I love them.
You guys, you two,
I loved it. I watched it years ago.
With Shorzy and Letterkenny and Shorzy. Canadian humor at its best.
Yeah,
amazing stuff. Check this out. All right, finally, recommend a meal. Mommy Celeste, recommend a meal.
Oh, for babies? Let me go with the baby, adult baby. Mushed peas, the pears, the soft pears, the little rusk crackers, and if you want to humiliate a baby or make them grossed out, which I did a lot of that too, they wanted it. Like the beef, like any of the meats are really gross so I recommend that for if you like that.
Okay, last time we got cut off.
Did we?
We're not going to get cut off. Well, we had to go to the next show, and then we did the word association game with a group of people, but we have time now, Mommy Celeste. This is a word association game. I'm going to say a word or a phrase, and you say the first thing that comes into your mind. And
okay, I'm going to close my eyes.
There's no wrong answer. You could say anything you want. I could say chastity, and you could say lock, or I could say chastity, and you could say, I don't know, the Muppets. Whatever you're thinking of at the time. You could say Montreal.
See, you're doing this rapid fire thing, again. My mind will just go blah. I can talk.
There's no wrong answer.
I just can't. I can't get.
There's no wrong answer. Okay.
Okay.
All right. So, chastity.
Slaves.
Spike chastity.
Ouch.
Sploshing.
Whipped cream.
Face slapping.
Consent.
Scar. Scarification. Scars.
Scary.
All right. Sensory deprivation.
Incredible.
Leather.
Smell.
Teacher's pet.
Mummy.
I don't know. Alien abduction.
Green.
Fake eyelashes.
I don't have any. So fake eyelashes. Ouch.
Vibrating butt plugs.
Control.
Milking machines.
Milkshake. Oh, piss. Champagne.
And finally, we reached the end. No pun intended. Scat.
Messy.
What superpower would you love your sub to have so you can use in your kinky sessions?
Oh, Ooh, that's a very interesting that's a very
That's a
interesting
different take.
question.
Usually he asks, what superpower do
Oh,
you want?
no, I think if he could, transport me to anywhere in the world, and then I could have the session there, like, maybe I wanna do Paris, like a transporter. I wanna be transported to a German dungeon or, a dungeon in Paris or England, a Mummy Domme cave in or, room in England or because there's a lot of mummies in England. Um, Hawaii would be nice.
Can you imagine being transported? If you could transport like you can go to Florida, and then next minute you can go to France, next minute you can go to India, the next minute you can go to. Imagine you do that, and you could peg someone. You could peg
In
around the.
every Oh,
You could peg around the entire equator or the prime meridian.
call yourself Peg Leg.
Totally, you could. Maybe we gotta
Mistress
start.
Peg Leg.
The vibrating peg leg. You know that. You know where that's going. Ah.
Oh, I like it.
Mhm.
In the mouth, in the butt, in the everywhere, in the ear.
All right, back to the questions. Platforms. We did the platforms. When's the last? What was the last dream you remember?
I just have nightmares.
Oh no. How do you? All
Yeah,
right, you have nightmares. A lot of people in
yeah.
the community do. They're suffering. Seriously, how do you either try to prevent the nightmares, or how do you deal with them after you have them?
Oh, it sticks with me. It's like a vivid, like a lucid, full color movie. And it's usually violent,
Oh no.
bloody, and yeah, it's
Are you being the violent one, or are they being violent towards other people, or violent towards you?
usually they're coming for me.
Oh,
Demons and violent people and abuse and all that stuff. But I lived in a demonic house when I was little, like a really, really bad, like very, very evil touched place. So it used to be turned out after we did some research, well, my grandfather did research because I was just little, that it used to be a monastery. And back then when the nurses, when the nuns, I'm trying to get it out, um, maybe got pregnant accidentally.
wow.
They had to get rid of the babies, and there were a bunch there. They did abortions, and I think they did an abortion. I think they did a bunch of abortions in the bed that I slept in because my mom said she came into the room. I was screaming. My dad said, "No, no, let her sleep. Let her sleep. This is good method, right? Cry it out." So she let me go for a long time, and then one night she said, "I can't take it anymore." And I'm in the middle of the bed because she put me in the middle of this big king bed, and she came in and it was just like elevated and shaking, and I was screaming. So I think that's residual from the demon. I call it the demon house. So we got out of there pretty fast. But my dad got really sick. He almost died. The dog did, and my mom was
Horrible.
attacked. Yeah. So religious, right? Like religious location and nobody knew why there was this stump in the middle of the walkway, right? Well, it turned out it used to be a cross, but because so many bad things happen in that house, the inner courtyard, uh, the cross was cut down by the locals because it was so blasphemous. But we didn't know that when we rented it. It was just a cheap place to rent, and it seemed too good to be true, and usually it is when.
What part of
So
Canada is this?
no, that was Guatemala. I lived in
Oh,
Guatemala when I was
Guatemala.
yeah,
Oh, yes. Oh, I'm sorry.
a
Yeah.
little town called Metaquescuintla up in the mountains. Yeah.
And when
So
did you when did you end up in Canada?
I was
Or
back we were
end up?
back
End up is not the right
in
word. I'm sorry to say
what
that.
was that?
I said end up is not the right phrase.
No, it was better we were back. I had to be back in Canada for kindergarten. So I was young. Like I was home. We were back in Canada when I was about 6.
Mhm.
So Yeah. So that and the earthquake, the bad earthquake happens in 1976. So I think that's just why PTSD, you know. So yeah,
Okay, we're gonna lighten things up.
lighten it up, baby. It is light. I'm a survivor
Why are men obsessed with their own assholes?
because they feel good.
All right.
A lot of nerve endings in the anal opening, you know, and it's tantalizing when you play with it a little bit with the fingers, and then you just want to go further and deeper and darker and harder.
Mm. Do you think there's forced buy sessions, but you don't see forced rim job sessions? Do you? I mean, are they as popular? Are they
Well,
accepted?
I think you can make the men do anything. Like if you tell them to give another guy a rim job, they're gonna do it,
I think
right?
that's a very telling statement. I think you could do anything. Seriously, they look
That's
at
it.
wars, look at soldiers. Think about it.
That's right. I mean, you can make them eat anything if it means they're gonna have sex. Like, you know, would you eat a bit of, you know, liver and it's you're allergic to it, you'll eat liver.
All right,
So,
Chastity, or my mommy Celeste.
yes,
I know who you really are. You're Chastity Queen, but
I'm
as mommy Celeste,
everything.
as mommy. All right, do you have any interesting chastity stories?
I do. I've got lots. Um, like give me a some
Something to do with mommy Celeste.
oh,
A mommy Celeste chastity story.
well, I will say one thing. You know, since my baby Nancy's my favorite of all, I'm going to say that because baby's little clitty is so soft and useless and really doesn't do too much, it's hard to keep chastity on that little thing. So it falls off, like it slips off. So, you know, if and the thing is to have something really grab tight is hard. So that makes it a challenge. Um but the one time baby was really doing well in baby space, it did not fall off. So I think it was magic. So I think that chastity can be magic when you need it to be, right? But as far as a story, I mean, that's just one story. Hmm.
All right, we're winding things up. We're
Yeah.
all looking for something. Where do you want your
Yes.
path to take you next?
Well, I'm starting a secret society for
Yes.
chastity slaves, and I've got a group now. It's Chastity Queens Crown and Cage Society. So I want everybody to kind of join the group and sort of see what's up, and then I can kind of filter through and see who's going to be interested or want to or able to join a secret little monthly ritualistic meeting where I may do some hypnosis and some things. We'll see. Um, so join that group, and that's what's next and new. Um, and I'm really embracing my witch side.
That is beautiful. That is so cool. I'm so glad. I'm so glad to hear this.
Yes.
Can you leave us before the final question? What's the best way to tease someone in chastity?
You know what? I think putting a plug in or my finger in their ass is wonderful. And then what you do is you use the vibrator as well. Or you let them use the vibrator where it feels the best. And then you can put your finger in their asshole and tease the P spot, right? Because it's the male G spot,
Mm,
like this, just gently, right? Right. And then you can play with their nipples. So I like that double whammy, right?
yes,
That works really well.
you're a muse. Totally. So finally, complete this sentence. Life is
Beautiful. I think I said that last time. Let's do another one. Life is fun.
life is fun. And how can people support you, get in contact with you, Mommy Celeste, Chastity Queen? Please.
You can go to
Tell me what's up.
my link tree / chastity queen for all of my links and my affiliates and my podcast. But please go on FetLife. Let's be friends. If you're alone and you're listening to this, That's all you have to do. One step. It's free. You can be private, and you can go to FetLife, and you can join Nicholas as well on FetLife, correct?
Yes, at your kinky friends. Definitely.
Yes.
We put a lot of these. There's a lot of stuff that we cannot put on YouTube. That's
I
on
know.
FetLife. Yes. So everybody, please get 15% off all inventory at Locked in Lust with offer code YKF. Get device. Start out with something. It's a great way to start out. Seriously.
Yeah.
You know, like Chastity Queen says, the best chastity device.
It is. It's a great one because it's inescapable.
But also, like what you say, the best chastity device is the one that fits.
Yes.
Your
Measure.
Yes, measure.
Measure. And on Locked in Lust, there's a they'll tell you how to measure.
And do you like how do you like the strap to, because I'm gonna start
Oh, it's amazing. The
like
strap-on?
using
The
the
crotch
strap
rocket?
on. Yeah, is that what it's called? Yeah, that's what
The
it's called.
crotch rocket is amazing.
We're gonna
Highly
Lock and
recommend.
Lust.
It's
Send me
high
one.
quality, it's leather, it's gorgeous.
Read a book, people. Your kinky friends. I wrote a book. If you're dealing with grief and you just need connection, you don't know, this is what it's about. It's a true story. It really is about dealing with the loss of a woman I love very much.
Yeah.
I write about that woman in The Coolest Way to Kill Yourself. No one kills himself in the book. It's a saying. It is the saying. So kill off the old person you once were and become the kind, cool, and caring person you are now. It's gonna be a great week. Be cool, be kind, keep an open mind. Take care, everybody. Bye.
Bye.